What's up, you guys? This is Rurouni K95 here. Once again, it's time for another video that I haven't done one like this before, which is a discussion video. Because we're going to be taking a look at the discussion of what we're talking about are keeping manga titles as favorites of what you own. And this time, this is going to be something about how I wanted to come by for this, because I'm going to be picking some manga titles that I keep that I considered of what I enjoy the most, because I have every one of them in my manga collection, because I just wanted to come by for to collect these I have. Well, despite I haven't been collecting any manga for a while since I did my previous manga haul video for the month of November, the past 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago or something. Yeah, because I just wanted to come by for this, particularly for what I have to come by on this as well, because I just wanted to do this. As you guys all know, if you ever guys been watching the channel, I've been literally getting into the Blu-ray from World Cinema, Ralph Bakshi films from the 70s and 80s. Also, I'm also getting into Italian cinema and movies presented in THX Certified. And I'm also getting into collecting metal patches for my battle jacket and merchandise for Vivzy Pop, you know, like from Has-Been Hotel to Hell of a Boss, because there's a bunch of those merchandise as well. And I'm also getting into metal albums from on CD to vinyl records, which I'll tell you more about it as soon as we finish off in the video. So, for the whole thing, importance about how I've been keeping manga titles of what I like the most as something that redefines me as an otaku. Let's say, for example, because like I have this manga series that I have been reading, and this is the manga title. Let's say, for example, like I have read Sorcerer Hunters. This is a classic manga series from Satoru Akahori and Rei Omishi, which is a classic old manga, because this is one of those manga titles that have been redefined me as an otaku, because I just wanted to come by for this as well. I mean, if you have never read Sorcerer Hunters, give it a read, give it a try, because especially if you ever want to read something that redefines me as an otaku, because I like this. I'll put this on the par right next to the Slayers, as well as other mangas I enjoy, though. Well, Slayers you have to be in the mood for, but this you can throw in any time as well. And I'm talking about how I'm keeping, for a manga series like Sorcerer Hunters, because this is one of those manga titles that redefines me as an otaku. That's why, because, well, I guess I love this manga series because that's one of them that has also been redefined me as an otaku. That's why. Just to give you a word of this as well. And also, I have been picking out some, what are classic favorite mangas I read from shonen I like. Let's say, for example, particularly of how, what I love to death the most. And this is something I wanted to read. Let's say, for example, like Yu Yu Hakusho, for existence, because this is another manga series from Yoshihiro Togashi, because this also redefines me as an otaku also, because there's many arcs, which also includes the Dark Tournament arc in the original manga as well, because this may be a lot more different as opposed to the anime, though, but the manga you can throw in any time, particularly because I just wanted to come by if you ever love reading classic old manga, as particularly just to give my biggest curiosity for this as well, how you wanted to come by on that as well. And yeah, because I have been reading most manga that I had from my manga collection, because I have picked some mangas of what are my favorite manga authors in general, because I just wanted to give you a quick little feeling for this as well, because I just want to know for this as well, because this is all new to me, though, as well, just to give you head starters as well, because I just realized for the fact for this as well, because I just wanted to know about that particularly for that is when I wanted to come by for that as well. And to be fair, though, this is the most well-enjoyed manga I read that also defines me as an otaku from one of my favorite manga artists, Rumiko Takahashi. Like, say for example, like I read the classic Urusei Yatsura. If you've never been familiar with this series, this is one of Rumiko Takahashi's earliest works before she works on other of her latest work. Like, say for example, Ranma 1/2, Maison Ikoku, Mermaid Forest, which is the part of her later works, One Pound Gospel, Inuyasha, and many of her later works Rumiko Takahashi worked on as well, because this is how you wanted to come by for this, because I really enjoyed Rumiko Takahashi's art style, because I just wanted to say I'm basically introduced to most of her art style works, because I thought this is how, this got yourselves a little catered in for this, because I just wanted to come by. When I first read this, this is one of those manga series that also redefines me as an otaku, because this is one of them, because although this was published originally in Japan in 1980, you know, because this is the original tankobon volumes on here. And yeah, I just wanted to come by for how I like the art style of the manga a lot more as opposed to the anime. Well, the anime you have to be in the mood for, but this you could throw in any time, especially for the original. If you want to read something that is a lot very more different as something as opposed to the original manga as well. You know, for a series like Urusei Yatsura, because I just wanted to come by for this one as well. Although this was also translated into these perfect collection edition ones, like this one I have. This is also translated in English though, which I have been coming into my own little reading perspective thing as well, as opposed to reading the manga, either if it's in English or in Japanese, its original Japanese translated tankobon versions. But this you could throw in any time as well, as part of your own little reading perspective thing for a manga like this one in general, because, well, that's just particularly for the whole thing as well. Yeah. However, it's a lot very common as well whenever, if you've ever been very familiar to the series. However, these were put out under those perfect collection and edition ones, because some of them, the chapters from the original ones that were translated in English, some of it's missing some chapters, but this wasn't long until this signature has brought back the Urusei Yatsura manga, because I just wanted to come by for this. And particularly for all this as well, because I have been reading some of the samurai manga, because, let's say, for example, because I have been reading Lone Wolf and Cub, and it's my biggest introduction to the samurai manga. Let's say, for example, because I am into the whole entry of reading manga that is something very good. Let's say, for example, like I have Vagabond. Yeah, this is if you've ever been, want to come by for if you want to look for some, like, how, if you've ever been reading this series though, because to me, Vagabond is particularly one of my favorites manga series in my opinion, because this is how I've been wanting to come by for samurai manga, because this is all new for me. However, there are also these Viz Big editions of these Vagabond manga books available, because this is all interesting, because there's a whole bunch of them out there, and this is the samurai manga series that has got me pumped, because I just wanted to pick this as my favorite, because I just wanted to come by for samurai series like Vagabond because this is my second favorite. Well, technically it's my favorite. I think I'll put this as one of my favorite samurai mangas, right next to Lone Wolf and Cub and Blade of the Immortal, because I just wanted to come by for how my curiosity goes for a series like this one. Although I do have some other manga favorites I loved that also redefines me as an otaku from Rumiko Takahashi, like Meizane Koku, Rama One Half, Inuyasha, One Pound Gospel, many of her famous works, because those are her famous works, even though I've already done my video on the guide to Rumiko Takahashi's manga as well. But there's also other manga I loved, what I particularly enjoy the most. Something that also redefines me as an otaku, like Azumanga Daioh, as well as Fate Stay Night. That also redefines me also as an otaku, as well as you get what I mean as well. Oh, and Samurai Deeper Kyo. Samurai Deeper Kyo is also another manga that also redefines me as an otaku. And Lupin the Third and Vampire Princess Miyu, also known as Vampire Miyu. Speaking of that, because I do have one right here. Let's say I have Vampire Miyu Volume 1. Because this is how I want to come by for these classic mangas that have never been translated in English in the West as well. Because especially if you ever wanted to read something like this as well. And to me, I considered Vampire Miyu my favorite manga series from most of them as well. As how I wanted to come by for these classic horror manga as well, because I mean, I just love its dark and its moody, atmospheric feel, but some of it has its moments on there, because especially if you ever want to come by for to read a classic manga series that I have in, it's only available in Japanese, like what you find in the West as well, particularly for how you wanted to come by to this, to my curiosity. I have read other manga books that I have kept of what I love and enjoy the most. I have Fist of the North Star, Bastard, Heavy Metal Dark Fantasy, and Berserk. If I had to pick my favorites, well, Fist of the North Star you have to be in the mood for, but Berserk, you can just throw in any time, as well as JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, or any manga of what you enjoy the most as well. But, to me, Berserk, this manga series has like over 52 volumes on here, because we do have these deluxe hardcover editions that were put out by Dark Horse Manga, because I just wanted to come by for the whole catering to the point outs of how you wanted to come by for this one. In case if you all remember for this as well. Yeah, which it does for this as well. And also, I have been reading omnibus volumes on here. I mean, yeah, because I have read omnibus volumes of manga before. Let's say, for example, I read Azumanga Daioh, for example. That's the slice of life, school days in the type manga story. Like the slice of life parts in it as well. Because, like, something particularly what it's like in school for a manga like Azumanga Daioh, because that manga also redefines me as an otaku also, because this is how you want to come by for how I pick manga of what I like, of what I enjoy, that are my favorites. And also, Oh My Goddess from manga artist Kosuke Fujishima, because I've read the entire manga series, and that also redefines me as an otaku also, because I just wanted to come by for this as well. What I love to enjoy, of what are your favorites, of what you love the most as well. And I have been reading classic manga in general, though, because I just wanted to know for this as well. I have read most of the mangas that were finished, some that are still ongoing. Let's say for the examples that the manga that are still going as well. Like, for example, Case Closed, also known as Detective Conan. I've read only like 83 volumes of them. My percentage on it was like technically 100%, as well. As well as One Piece, because I've been reading over 80 plus volumes of the manga, because One Piece has starting to get over 100 volumes now, because, well, to me, One Piece is starting to become my most favorite shonen manga as well, because that's what I considered of what I enjoy the most, that also redefines me as an otaku as well also, because, which it does remind me, I will get back into the manga guide of the catalog of Eiichiro Oda soon at one point. But for the most part as well, because I have been reading some of my favorite mangas, like Blade of the Immortal, because I just wanted to come by, for example, because speaking of that I mentioned Blade of the Immortal, because I do have one in my manga collection, as well as Bastard, Heavy Metal Dark Fantasy, and Berserk as well. I considered most of them to be my favorites as well. Well, because I just wanted to come by for this one as well, because most of the mangas I've been reading as well, under samurai manga, let's say I have Blade of the Immortal. This one also got like a hardcover deluxe edition volumes of the manga as well, because I just wanted to come by for a manga series like Blade of the Immortal, because I have to put this on the par with technically probably Vagabond and Lone Wolf and Cub, Samurai Executioner, many other classic mangas I like, of what I enjoy the most. This is how you wanted to come by for a classic manga series from Hiroaki Samura, which is Blade of the Immortal, because I consider Blade of the Immortal my favorite next to Lone Wolf and Cub and Vagabond also as well. If you want to look for some classic manga I've been reading, because I have picked some that are my favorites of what I enjoy mostly. If you love some dark fantasy and some name references to the names of a heavy metal bands as well. Let's say, for example, Bastard, Heavy Metal Dark Fantasy. To me, Bastard Heavy Metal Dark Fantasy hasn't been finished, because there are some names, you know, like Dark Schneider, referencing Dirk Schneider from the band called Accept, as well as Metallicana, referencing to the name Metallica as well, because to me, Bastard Heavy Metal Dark Fantasy is one of my favorite manga series, in my opinion, because if you have never read Bastard Heavy Metal Dark Fantasy, I highly recommend you to check out this manga, because to me, this is one of my favorite manga series, though, as well as right next to my other favorite manga series from Kentaro Miura, Berserk. Because Berserk is one of my favorite manga series from Kentaro Miura. This one, I'm guessing, also got these deluxe hardcover editions on here. And this is the manga that what redefines me also as an otaku. What I considered it mostly my favorites on here, because Berserk is one of my favorite manga series, in my opinion, because this is how I wanted to come by for this one as well. In case you're wondering as well. Ever since, particularly, when I was technically introduced to the whole credibility for how I've been introduced about the whole thing of how I wanted to come by for classic, manga, what I loved to enjoy, that I considered to be my favorites. And Berserk is one of them, because to me, Berserk is my favorite manga series, though, because I love the whole meaning for a manga like Berserk, that's why. As well as right next to other manga I enjoyed, like Rurouni Kenshin, because I consider the manga Rurouni Kenshin one of my favorite manga series that also redefines me as a manga reader, as an otaku in general as well. But that's besides the point, for I'm giving you an example for this of what I keep that are part of the list of manga that I consider to be my favorites of what I keep in your manga collection. If you're a manga collector like me, I keep some of my favorites of what I love the most as well. Especially if you're a manga reader, that's why. So that's going to be it for today. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, especially if you're new to my channel, because I've been literally getting into the Blu-ray now for world cinema and Ralph Bakshi films from the 70s and 80s, as well as Italian cinema from Ruggiero Deodato to Dario Argento, other good stuff as well. I'm into the whole entry on Italian cinema, and I'm also getting into merchandise from Vivzipop, like stuff like Has Been Hotel and Hell of a Boss as well. And I'm also getting into metal albums from CD to vinyl records, you know, like new wave of British heavy metal, death metal bands, thrash metal bands, good stuff as well. And I'm also getting into patches for my battle jacket as well, because I've been literally getting into the battle jacket update videos also. And I have a lot of different collecting in the whole variety of it, of different collecting hobbies that is part of the variety of it. Not just collecting anime and manga and video games in general. And I'm also getting into movies presented in THX certified, from Toy Story to A Bug's Life, stuff like that as well. In case you wonder as well, if I could remember for this as well. And also, smack the like button if you enjoyed the video, hit the notifications bell button, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Like, what do you think of it? Like, have you ever collected any manga that considered to be your favorite of what defines you as an otaku in your manga collection? Let me know about it in the comments, right in the comment section below. Be sure to check out my Anime Planet or Analyst, because I've been literally getting in a letterbox, that's why. Keep it otaku for this video, because I had to do this video because we're long overdue for a new one, that's why. This is Rony K95 saying thank you for watching my video, and I'm glad you liked it. Hope you enjoy it. Hope to see you soon for the next video. Be sure to stay safe and stay healthy, and have a great day. This is Rony K95 signing off. Thank you for watching my video, and I will see you soon for more videos that I got on plan for what's in store. Ta-ta for now for this video. Take care. Stay tuned for more videos that I got on planned when I have some ideas, especially that were new and were long overdue. That's why. Stay tuned for more. Bye.